This is a short guide for secondary schools to help in the preparation and completion of the spring school census, which is due on January the 19th. Before you start, print out the LEMIS guidance notes and the DFES guidance and preparation notes, which can be found on EIS on the Performance website. It's also a good idea to do a dry run in the week or so before the census, then any errors can be corrected before January the 19th. To start, routines, statutory returns, school census. Spring term, and check that the census folder is in the right SIMS drive. Any information that you want to add for people for reports can be put here. Click New. Check the date, 19th of the 1st, 2012. The selected period has to be entered here. This is governed by the last number of your DFES number, and you'll find how to work this out in the LEMIS guidance notes. For example, if this is to be done first period on a Thursday morning, and the school has 6 periods each day, then we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with 6 periods, which is 18, and the first period on the Thursday will be period 19. Attendance collected from should be the first date of the autumn term. School information, check the telephone is correct, you have a generic school email address, and that the governance and intake type are correct. If you have changed to being an academy since the last census, these will need to be changed to academies. If you need to do this, click on School Detail, change anything in here, save, and OK. Back to census details, and the first job is to calculate all details. This is done just the once, unless you have new pupils after you've done it for a dry run who need to be included in the census. The classes listed are the ones that should be for period 19 in the week. If you have printed the report, student classes at a particular period, you should be able to match it up. You have the students who are in each class. You would need to add if there are any guest students. You need to check that there is a teacher to each class. And then on the day, you would need to add how many support staff are in each class. There is no need now to record the activity. The next job is student reconciliation. It tells us there are 949 students in classes, but we've got 1,017 on roll. Therefore, we have to find a space for the discrepancy. So if we say that we have got 60 private study students, and then we have got 8 students at FE colleges, then you'll see the total students now is 1,017, which agrees with the students on roll, 1,017. Attendance, it tells us here that there are some attendance marks missing. These are attendance marks for the autumn term. So if you find that you have this message, go to Focus, Lesson Monitor or Attendance, deal with missing marks, correct the missing marks, and when you come back into the census, you can then just click Recalculate here without altering any manual entries that you have made. General can only be done on the day because it's the number of free school meals taken on census day. Admission appeals, if you're a foundation or voluntary aided school, you would need to find out if there are any entries to be made here. Just create and validate. This can be done at any time and can be done as many times as you like. It will come up to say that there are missing marks, and because we know that there are, we haven't corrected them, we can just say, yes, we want to go ahead and create the return. It will take a while, especially if you're a big school, because there is quite a lot of data to be collected. But you can see with the progress bar what is happening, that at the moment data is being collected, then it will create the file, and then it will validate the file. When the file is validated, we shall have a list of errors and queries. The errors are in red and must be corrected. The queries need to be looked at in turn to make sure that they are genuine queries, and if that is the case, then they can be allowed to go through. Obviously, if we're doing a dry run, there will be queries because we haven't put in things like free school meals, and there may be other things that need to be added later on the day. Here we have the errors and the queries. We have classes with no staff. We have students with UPN missing. We have pupils aged 5 and over with no ethnic group. To correct any pupil errors, you just click on the error, which will take you to the student record, and you'll see there that there is no ethnicity in there. So that would need to be completed, then saved and closed. If it says language missing, it is first language. Home language is not collected, only first language. So once you've made the correction, save, close, and as you go through the corrections, then if you keep creating and validating, then the errors will gradually go. So you go down here and you'll see errors, and you'll see then underneath the queries. So you deal with all those as much as you can. So you hope that by January the 19th, you'll have an error-free census when you do run it. So if we close that and take ourselves now to the summary report, click on summary, and this brings up a report which can be handed to the head to check numbers. It has various sections to it, and they're all numerical, and so they need to be checked to make sure it's accurate. If there are any queries about any of the numbers, then what you need to do is go to the detail reports, and you can see here that most of the sections have detail, and you can find out if people are missing or why the numbers aren't correct. Once the head is happy with the summary report, then the census can be authorised, but this can't be done until January the 19th. So if I close this census, then on January the 19th I come routines, statutory return, school census. The census that I was working on is there, so I can double click on it, complete anything that needs doing on the day, and once I have created and validated, printed the summary, had it checked, then the next step on the day is to authorise. Click on authorise. It does tell me some attendance marks are missing. Obviously they would have to be dealt with before we could proceed, but I'm just going to go through the process to show you how it goes. So yes, it says that it recommends detailed reports and summary reports are run because the return cannot be edited once authorised. Do you want to continue? Yes. The head or somebody who's doing has to tick there to say that the head is satisfied that the summary and or detail reports have been checked and the file is ready for upload. So at that point you click continue, and it will then bring up an authorization report which can be printed, and also the summary report again that should say no errors and perhaps a few queries that you know are correct. And if you print that again, clip the two together and keep them somewhere safe, then you have a record of the figures that you have returned. Once that's been authorised, you'll see that it is now an XML file. It has an authorisation date which must be on or after the 19th of January. And this is now ready to be returned to the LA using Avco Termly.